Chairman. I want to both welcome the witnesses and want to congratulate you on your first hearing as chair. I know you're vitally interested in water issues coming from a somewhat watery state, shall we say. And, you know, I'm pleased to be working with you, and I'm pleased that today we're jointly sending a letter to President Trump urging him to fully utilize the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund as a part of his trillion-dollar infrastructure plan. As Chairman Schuster noted, $9 billion have been diverted into a theoretical fund over at the Treasury. Every day, every American who buys an imported good pays a little bit more for it with the understanding that that is going to go to facilitate the movement of freight in and out of the United States through our ports, and that more efficient movement would actually pretty much offset the minuscule tax. Unfortunately, if you don't spend the tax, then you still have the delays and the ships parked miles out into the ocean, and so people are paying the tax, the money isn't being spent, and they're paying more for the imported goods because of the delays. We're breaking faith with the American people. It seems kind of like a no-brainer. On a daily basis, our 59 busiest harbors have 35% availability of maximum depth. And that's not even to deal with the new challenges of the post-Panamax ships. So I'm hopeful that we can move forward with that. I did get a version of that, somewhat awkward and crippled out of this committee because of the budget rules, which are waived on a daily basis around here. But in that case, boy, they had to be enforced. So I'm hopeful we'll do it honestly and just say, hey, forget about the stupid budget rules. Let's spend the tax for the purpose for which it was collected, deal with the maintenance backlog in our harbors, and more efficiently move freight. I'm one who's always tried to find that there's like a regulatory pendulum. They can swing way over here or way over there. The sweet spot's in the middle, and it's always difficult to get there. I believe there are unnecessary delays and impediments due sometimes to bureaucracy and to misguided regulations. I've been having an ongoing dispute with FEMA and National Marine Fisheries up in my region, so I can understand that, and I welcome an honest discussion of that. But I also caution that you don't swing to the other extreme, which is, we're just going to facilitate projects whether or not they're well thought out, whether or not they have community support, and whether or not they might have unintended consequences. Look at 50 years ago, the Central and Southern Florida project, which was authorized in '48, which diked Lake Okeechobee, Kissimmee River. Part of the Everglades was drained, and it's widely recognized by the residents, the communities, and everyone around there as a disaster. And now Congress, 50 years later, passed a plan that costs $10 billion to reverse some of that. So if we approach some of these major projects in a more balanced way, I think we'll be better off and not have to try and reverse their impacts later. We've had significant testimony before this committee, including a former colleague who was head of the Corps of Engineers for a brief period of time until he came here before this committee, presented the Bush budget for Corps of Engineers, and I said, is that budget adequate to deal with these backlogs and all these other problems we have? And he said, no. The next week, he resigned to spend more time with his family. We need to encourage honesty. And the honest thing is the most major impediment is lack of funding, plain and simple. And then we can deal with any regulatory burdens that crop up in the interim. I mean, in surface, you can't say that the 150,000 bridges out there, 99% of which are not going to require any major environmental analysis that need to be repaired or replaced, are not getting done because of environmental restrictions. They're not getting done because the government isn't investing the money in the national highway system. It's the same with our ports and harbors, which is under the jurisdiction of this subcommittee. So I welcome the witnesses here today. I want to hear and hope to hear about that kind of balance and the need to better invest. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.